enough, they want the number of residents living in the centre of our city to be close to 20,000 by the year 2030. At the moment there's about 8,000 city dwellers, and I must admit I am one of those, and highly recommend it, close to everything as we are rebuilding our city. Right, waiting for our turn of the lights, and here it is. As we go over the intersection, if you look left you can see the bus exchanges, the brick building, and directly across you'll see the flag for the Fresh Choice supermarket. Now you've got your bearings, just crossed over Litchfield Street. So the Muse Art Hotel here on the right hand side, very ordinary late 1950s, early 60s office block. Muse Art Hotel took over, engaged 5 interior designers, artists, and for new builds. And of course that's been challenged all the time. The developers of course want that to be higher, but right now 28 metres. The ANZ Centre here on the left is exactly 28 metres. Excellent example of steel and safety glass. There are, believe it or not, there are 16 shoe shops in the city, and just in the hub of our city. Incredible. I thought Melbourne was the shoe shop centre of the world almost, but no, we can hold our own here in Christchurch. So if you're a bit of an Imelda Marcos, this is the city for you. Tram stop number 9. Now this is where you get off if you're wanting to visit the transitional, the to Cathedral Square for the second time, and then making our way down to the Heritage Loop, taking in tram stops 10 through to 18. Yeah. Now the oldest commercial building remaining in Cathedral Square is the building, the brick building you can see in front of the tram. You'll see it on the left as we turn into Colombo Street. It's got the bell tower and the clock tower. It was the chief post office building in its day, 1879. And the owner has very extensively and with a great deal of expense brought it back to life, recreated it, it's back to its former glory, and he's renamed it the Grand. The interior is not yet complete. When it opens its doors, the bottom half of the building is going to be dedicated as our integrated information centre. Here we go, this is the Christchurch Cathedral, the Anglican Cathedral, our cathedral. Looking very sad indeed. They've stopped work on the cathedral at the moment. The money has well and truly been depleted. They've done the stabilisation and strengthening. Right now they have completed the weatherproofing and pigeon proofing. Of course we don't want pigeons roosting back in there as they did previously. We spent $155 million, which was the budget allocated to reinstate the cathedral, our iconic cathedral. It's well and truly been spent, and we need north of $80 million to complete the task. Now if you're wanting those great views, to take your photographs, there's nobody in the open viewing platforms. Earlier today there were a lot of people up there taking their photographs. You can see the open viewing platforms at Turanga, our city library, closes at 8:30 this evening. There is also a lot of information on the purple fences around the site itself. Some great photographs of how it looked in its day, and you can see tucked in behind the purple fence the spires waiting to be returned to their rightful place. It's a shame that the scaffolding's up over the Citizens' War Memorial. They're cleaning that. In preparation for the Anzac coming. And they opened the doors just before Christmas last year. One tenant, the Adventure Books. Not just books though. He's got a cabinet with lots of treasures from Robert Falcon Scott and Ernest Shackleton. In fact, he's got a pair of Ernest Shackleton's wood. The Gentleman of Canterbury and the relationship with Robert Falcon Scott in the early days. This is the Canterbury Club here on the left hand side, the Weatherboard building. The Canterbury Club was formed in 1872, 2 years to build the club rooms And Ernest Shackleton, Robert Falcon Scott dined with the gentlemen often during in between their voyages to the Antarctic. And Mark Twain also visited our city, the author Mark Twain, and he stayed at the Canterbury Club. Quite a bit of history at the Canterbury Club, being a weatherboard building and flexed, so it survived, thank goodness. This is the art gallery, tram stop number 11. This is Te Puna o Waifetu. Now it's open till 5 o'clock. The building itself was built prior to 2011, and believe it or not, during the earthquake there's so much damage around the city. All that happened to the art gallery was one of those 2,200 panes of glass cracked. Just cracked, didn't break. So it was Dulleen and Canterbury College that finally turned into the University of Canterbury. University of Canterbury moved off the site in 1974. And it became a cultural precinct, lots of artisans and cottage industries called the Arts Centre home. Worthy of a visit. This is tram stop number 12. It starts closing its doors around 5 o'clock today. Lots to see, lots of cottage industries and artisans and galleries, a couple of nice little clothing galleries as well. There's 23 listed, so it's a very important heritage site, not just for Christchurch, but for the country itself. Just this middle section yet to be completed. It's not going to go anywhere, it's well and truly braced. Coming up, tram stop number 13. Now this is for the Botanic Gardens. The gates close at dusk. It's directly over the road, so round the corner, use the pedestrian crossing directly over the road. And also if you're booked to go punting on the Avon, on the left-hand side is Rolleston Avenue, about 300 metres down on the left-hand side at the Antigua boat sheds. This is tram stop number 13. If that's true to the way it's going to be, it's going to be a magnificent extension. It's going to house the blue whale skeleton. Looks magnificent. They're bracing that building. The work been going on at the moment. They've braced the building. They're going to put base isolators down into the foundations. It is just the facade they're keeping. If you look in behind the building, you'll see there's nothing behind. That's where the new wing is going. And they're also we're going to have to import another batch of Welsh slate to fix the roof. On the left-hand side, this is Christ's College, Anglican Boys Private Secondary School. 700 very fortunate young men on the school roll. About a third of those boys are boys residents. Here on the right-hand side of the tram. 175 years celebrating. It's actually only been on the Rolleston Avenue site since 1856. The school itself was established in 1850 when the first 4 ships arrived into Port Cooper, now called Lyttelton Harbour. Christchurch itself is celebrating 175 years this year. Right, turning out into Armagh Street. This little Nissan gateway to me, thank you very much. And you got your first glimpse of Hagley Park, 164 hectares of green space belonging to the city and the people of Christchurch. Right, we'll wait for our turn at the lights. We're making our way to tram stop number 18. The more decisions to be made. This whole block from Colombo Street right down to Manchester Street on the left-hand side here, the Roman Catholic Church owned that. And it was their intention to rebuild their basilica, the Cathedral of the Blessed Sacrament, on this site. And I quite fancied the idea. I fancied the idea of to understand the fate of this land. It's a prime piece of real estate. The whole of this block belongs to the Catholic Church. Meanwhile, what we do know is on the right-hand side, this is dedicated to the performing arts. This is our performing Performing Arts Precinct. The building going on, that's the return of the Court Theatre, our professional theatre group, returning to the city. The piano is the centre for music, and if you want to just cold something. Spanish mission style architecture, quite unique. 1st of April 1932, the street was opened. This is Track Stop 18 for New Regent Street.
How we going? Good.
Many times over, and it was the first street to be reinstated. It's always been a popular spot for the locals. They wanted to give confidence to the locals to come back into the city after 2011. Very popular. It's open this evening for wanting to preach and drink. We've got multiple choices for something to eat. It's a great spot in Regent Street. Mirror image though, probably can't see inside the cab of the tram, but it is. Both sides are identical. Mirror image street. Returning tram stop number 1, Kieran is coming back to join us.
There's no need to tell us beforehand. If you want to get out, we stop automatically anyways. Here we go. Bells in my ears. It's trying to work out. The tram you're on at the moment is our youngest, a mere baby at 91 years old. And it came from Sydney, Australia. Used to live in the Opera House, or at least the building that was there before the Opera House was built. We also have two from Melbourne. Then we have one from Invercargill, one from Dunedin, and we do have some trams from Christchurch. We have 4 of those. Down to the right, the other car park is the Isaac Theatre Royal. This fine old building goes back to 1908. It was damaged in the earthquake some 14 years ago, but they were able to save parts of it, notably the front and the area beside the stage, behind the stage rather. So closer to us on the right is an example of the street art, which Christchurch has become well known in recent years, particularly since the earthquakes. One of them's letting us through, anyways. So this mural on the right celebrates our connection with the Antarctic. The building next to it on the right is the library. If you're going to get a fine view out over the rooftops of Christchurch, pop into the library before it closes. 8 o'clock. Just before it starts to get dark. Lovely view out. If you go up to the 5th floor, they have viewing platforms at the top. Then on the way down, have a look at a book or two. It is a library after all. There's a whole lot of other things. Now, further up to the right is the convention centre and the meeting heart of the city. At one time everything passed through here. Buses, trams, cars, duckers, dogs, cats, humans. But after the quakes though, the heart stopped beating while so many buildings were destroyed. But in more recent years new buildings have sprung up, older ones have been renovated, and little by little people are coming back to the square. Because today, because we had the cruise ship in the harbour, there's been a souvenir market in the square also. Things up with it. So we're just about to stop at tram stop 2. Coming up on the right is the Bridge of Remembrance, dedicated in 1924 to the soldiers who died in the First World War. A little further along the riverbank is the National Memorial Wall with the names of the 185 people who died in the earthquake of 22nd February 2011. This brings us to stop number 4, the beginning of the shopping mall, what is perhaps the main attraction around here, the Riverside Market, just a few steps down the laneway to the right-hand side.
used at the beginning and the end of the day, you see. Anyone else want? Oh, like a lot of 21st century stuff, it works every time.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Thank you. We're coming this way.
Gonna switch it back?